Welcome to Left Back in the Changing Room.
Way!
We are back for a second week, guys. It's me and the main man, Ricky Pellegrini.
Ricky Pellegrini. Jimmy Ferguson, how are you, mate? How has your Labour Day weekend here in the US?
Oh, it's been a fantastic weekend, mate. I've been given praise for working and a day off. What a fantastic thing to do in America. Aren't they kind-hearted folks over here?
And I'm hoping that you watched all the weekend's football as well. There's some cracking games.
Yeah, some blinders, mate. And I did manage to fit, my usual 10 hours in between, having to chat to the missus.
Sunday game was a big game. Obviously, Spurs versus Arsenal, which we will go into.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to start, as I did last week. What's happening at United, mate?
What's happening at United, eh?
What is happening at United? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer must be fuming.
I did read an article today, and he is not happy with his strike force. And I think, managers, they look at where to blame. And he's currently trying to blame Rashford and Martial for not scoring enough scrappy goals.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, he was a fox in the box himself, weren't he, old Solskjaer? So.
Yeah, but good old Solskjaer, I wouldn't call him scrappy. He knew how to hit the ball. He's a different type of player. He'd hit on sight, and he was a different kind of player. I actually do think that we were unfortunate on the weekend, but yeah. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Again, I said to you in the first game week when we smashed Chelsea 4-0, very lucky. I mean, we were, they were all over us first 30 minutes, and I did say that. So I think what we'll do, though, is we'll leave United there. I'm still unhappy. I'm not a happy man. But I'll tell you what I am happy about.
I had to bring it up. I'm sorry, Jimmy. But
I can see a weekly theme.
It was on the agenda last week. I'm bringing it up this week as well.
Bash the United fan from Surrey. I think it's deserved, right? Born in the 90s from Surrey, United fan.
So I did interrupt you. So go ahead, Jimmy. Take us through today's agenda.
I will do, yeah. So Ricky, I'm extremely honoured and privileged to say we're back for the second episode after our launch last week. Yeah, baby. I was reading that most podcasts fail. 90% fail after episode 1 because they don't come back to record it again.
They do, but
and we're here. We're back.
Yeah, this is the
dreaded
sequel. The dreaded sequel, though, mate. The dreaded sequel, episode 2. But,
I feel we've made it. We're on our way. Only 14 downloads last week, guys, but that is a start, and I am proud to say 7 listens as well.
Yep, that's not too bad.
This is taking off, Ricky. So today's agenda. Firstly, welcome again, guys. We're really pleased to have you all in here listening with us. Today, we are going to give you some more insight into what this podcast is really about. Me and Mr. Ricky Pellegrini last week, we were just really spitballing. No massive agenda, but this week we want to let you know where we're at. We're going to talk to you guys about our league, how we all got on last week. That's me, Ricky Pellegrini, Captain Russ, and Sean, the John McGinn fanboy. How can we forget that, lad? So there's the 4 of us in our league. There's a few other lads. It's a very competitive league. So we'll give you an overview of how we did. We'll look at last weekend's tips. How did they perform? We gave you 3 tips each from me and Ricky. Some did well, some not so well. Then who's the captain? For the following, in terms of who's the captain, who was your captain? And we'll look at, Sterling v Salah from last week. We'll then look at the upcoming games and reminder right here, international break coming up this week. Although we're looking at Gameweek 5, it's not happening this week. It's going to be the weekend after. We will have a preview of the weekend's action, but, we may have to come back next week to give you guys an update on the injuries that may have happened from the international break. And then, with all that, it's an awful lot already, hey, Ricky, but we have got a rambling from the dugout. A fan has written in, believe it or not, with a question that we will tackle.
Absolutely. Thanks for going over the agenda, Jimmy, and let's get straight to it, shall we? Who's on top? Yeah, Jimmy, do the honours.
As you've all heard there, Ricky Pellegrini, top 1,000 last year in the world, but he has risen to the top. The cream has risen to the top. We're in game week 4. The most amazing thing happened in the league. Ricky Pellegrini had a start that was, I thought, it was fluke last year. He was down in 7th after game week 1. Even I was above him. But the man, he has risen to the top.
I've risen.
He's number 1 in the league.
Risen. My wild card paid off. Yeah, I have to say, the best performer of the week, actually, was John McGinn fanboy. And he was sitting right there, bottom place, and he has shocked us all this weekend. He used his wild card. He had a great formation. I might just go through a few of his picks. First of all, he went straight for Aguero. He captained him. We all know Aguero did very well. He got Vardy up front. He had Lanzini, Mount, McGinn and Mane in midfield. He had Diop, Van Dijk, Robertson and Dubravka in goal. And, the big hitters there, obviously, Aguero and Jamie Vardy, what a great shout for this weekend, Jimmy.
Absolutely, Ricky, and thanks for running us through the team. We did have the one thing to call out about Sean, the Paul McGinn fanboys team, is he cheated, and I hate to throw out a cheating, straight to the point. He bent the rules slightly.
We made our podcast.
He did. We had 14 downloads. 13 were Sean McGinn, and the thing was, he was listening to who to pick, and he was really honing in, Ricky, on our captain choices. And we made a bit of a schoolboy error there because we told him who our captain was going to be. We both went Sterling. He took that on board and he went Aguero, knowing if Sterling didn't perform, he'd get this over us. So he did get the 89 points. I'm pleased to say he usually gets about 30 points, so he's still only 7th in the league.
Well, he could be a dark horse. But he's done well there. I've got to say, the back three had Diop, Van Dijk and Robertson. Obviously all did well. Obviously Diop being a West Ham centre-back for us, he was absolutely kept Pukki quiet all game long. He literally, I don't think he had a shot on target, Jimmy.
He did keep him quiet, Ricky, but my boy Cantwell, the man with the perm, beautiful hair.
Yeah, lovely
unbelievable.
Loves
and
his
it was
hair.
Really, quite blonde. I think he put some sun in there this week. He must have heard the podcast. We love that boy's hair, but he had a couple of fantastic chances. He hit the bar. I think he was offside, but he did have a header, and I don't know how that perm didn't get the ball. He sort of jumped before it.
Yeah, it was
should
a
have been a
screamer.
goal.
Just on the line, right? It should have went in, but obviously watching the West Ham game myself, I was very
I have
happy
to admit, Ricky, as an avid non-fan of the Hammers, and knowing you're a big fan of the Hammers, you must be pretty pleased with how you've turned it round in the last 2 weeks. I watched that game, and you were dominant. You were fantastic, actually.
We were good. To be fair, there's been signs of what's to come from West Ham over the last few weeks, and obviously with Haller up front was one of my picks for the week, as well as Abraham, but he did phenomenal. He just links up the play so well, he holds up the ball. We haven't had a striker like him at West Ham in a while. Arnautovic was great on his day, but he has inklings of being a lot more consistent. I feel like he's going to turn up week in, week out. Looks very fit, fast, great with his feet for a big man as well. Very happy about the result, and obviously he kept Pukki quiet as well.
Definitely did, and I'm sure he upset a lot of people there. Whether you listened last week or not, there's a lot of people that had Pukki in the team. He is now selected by 38% of people, and I think the Hammers really upset people there. But we'll get more into the games as we progress here, Ricky. And I think the one thing I wanted to just call out is Ricky did okay last week, 74 points, and he rose to the top. He's 269 for the season. 4 weeks in, that's a pretty good return. We got Captain Russ sitting in third, and hopefully, Captain Russ, he's our man on the ground in LA. I'm hoping he's going to join us today. He's potentially going to call in. And then you've got myself out of 9. I'm sitting in 7th, boys.
It was a great shout with Ayew, I've got to say, Jimmy. You did say that was one of your tips for the week, and Ayew did well, got 9 points, was an outstanding performer for Crystal Palace.
Jordan Ayew, he did all right.
You're obviously sticking with Wan-Bissaka, I see there, that obviously did not turn up, with Pereira, but the rest of your team did all right, mate. Not too bad.
I've got to say,
You've had worse.
I have had a lot worse, and my concern this week is I had good defending, and I had some good clean sheets with the Liverpool, the Man City, and when you get that, you need to build off of that with the rest of your team. So what that screams to me, Ricky, is the rest of my team is pretty awful. So a lot of work to be done, and I'm in this situation now where I am Wildy or not to Wildy. I'm really considering the wild card here.
You know what? The international break is usually quite a good time to use it. I kind of went 1 week earlier just because I wanted to get in there, and I was just very keen to put, again, Abraham, Haller, Cantwell, a few of the others as well, and sort my back line out as well. But the international break, a lot of people hold off on that because you've got 2 weeks, and then obviously there can be a lot of injuries.
I think it's wise to hold off just to see, what could happen. Players can get injured, but the good thing with the wild card is, even if you use it now and someone does get injured, you don't get deducted points. You can keep making transfers until the next week. So
absolutely
nothing to, could start planning it now. I think I may well do that. I'm off over to England next few days, and I'll sit on the plane, and I can't think of anything better to be doing there.
That's right.
just to round out the league, though, Ricky, we had as we said, Sean, the Paul McGinn fanboy, loves Paul McGinn, he's all over him.
John
McGinn. Sorry, John McGinn, of course. Who's Paul McGinn? That must be his other mate. So he played the Wildie, and he
That's only one beer in as well, by the way. Only one beer in, so this is going to get interesting. Stay tuned.
It's going in a good direction. So he made, he had the wild card, and he only had the one McGinn, but he kept McGinn in his team because he's such a fanboy.
He did.
But what he did do, he brought in Aguero. I think that's a fantastic decision. He shored up his defence with Van Dijk and Robertson. That's the double pairing.
Van Dijk got the bonus point there, I can see. Yep, because they got the clean sheet. But Vardy and Aguero, Jimmy.
Yeah, Vardy was a great choice.
Absolutely phenomenal. His goal, did you see his goal? The lob. It was kind of first time hit, the lob over the keeper. Absolutely instinct.
I listened to it, and the commentator was saying, bad defending. It was a punt up from the back. I mean, bad defending, but you still got to be there to finish it, and that was a fantastic finish.
Very instinctive, yeah. And just the fact that he went with Vardy and Aguero, up front, I think, really worked wonders. Both got assists as well, which is unusual for strikers, but they got the assists, and that really put them back on top.
Yeah, that's a good amount of points there, and I think, Ricky, we'll just round it out here. I was just looking at your team. You're 34,000th in the world at the moment. It's
in
not
the world,
too bad, is it?
Not too bad, yeah. I think in the US I'm in the top 1,000, so I'll be happy.
He's already there, guys. He's already top 1,000 in the US.
That's where I want to be. I want to be. If I can do well in the US, I know it doesn't really count because
that's why he moved here, guys. Because it's so much easier to beat them. They can't play football. They're good at baseball, but No, I digress. There's some very good players. Pulisic, he's not bad, is he? I wouldn't put him in my team though. To be honest, I just wouldn't bother.
Yeah, fair enough. So, what do you think? So, we've got the dream team here, the top scorers, across the board. What do you think of that team? So, we had, obviously, Fabianski, two West Ham players, actually, Fabianski and Masuaku. Masuaku did very well, got an assist for Haller, 12 points. Vestergaard, now, he's an interesting one. He got 11 points.
Oh, yeah.
He looks very good.
Scored against Man United.
Yeah, he's only 5 million and gets up, attacks corners a lot of the time. And he's a big guy.
I think when we look at the best performers of last weekend, he was. I mean, he's not going to score every week. United are poor defending. I read in the last 17 we have not kept a clean sheet.
Yep. Alexander-Arnold, though, I was
great
gutted.
Player. What a player. Did you see his goal?
Yeah, but got ruled as an assist instead of a goal. Went down to an own goal because it got a deflection.
Oh, that's
so I was
ridiculous.
Absolutely gutted. So that 11 points that Alexander-Arnold got could have been a lot more. So he got 11 points altogether, obviously, with the clean sheet as well as the assist. So did very well. Richarlison.
I mean, that's ridiculous, though, mate. I want to spend some time debating that. I mean,
he got two bonus.
Two, didn't he?
Two bonus
he would have
points.
Got 3, but in all fairness, this VAR's got to kick in or whatever. That's a ridiculous decision. It was clearly his goal.
Yeah, he was crossing it, and he did admit that.
I think it got like a really bad deflection. It was not going anywhere near the goal.
It wasn't that bad a deflection, but it was a cross, and they should have just given him the goal. They should have given him the goal because it was a great goal. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's funny. I didn't even know that until you've just told me. I literally saw it. I saw the highlights. I thought it was his goal.
It was funny because Klopp, in his post-match interview, he was shocked because he didn't realise either until after the game. And because he was like, what a great goal and well deserved from Alexander-Arnold because he's been top defender for FPL so far.
He's been brilliant for Liverpool, and before the start of the season I was so tempted to put him in, and I went Robertson. I've made a mistake there. I tell people I think you should get Alexander-Arnold, get Robertson out. I mean, he's a great player as well, but I just feel Alexander-Arnold, a lot of the reason people didn't put him in the team is, last year people thought he gets rotated a little bit with Gomez. He doesn't. He really doesn't. If you look at it, when he didn't play last season, he was injured. That's the only time when he was available. He was there. He's a brilliant player.
You're right, Jimmy. It's funny. I actually read that last week, and it did make me consider. I was deciding between Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. And I was thinking, you know what? Last season, Robertson was involved with so many goals. But you're right.
He really was, yeah.
And so I did read an article for the tougher teams. Will he play Gomez at right back to kind of shore up the defence? He's obviously a lot more defensive-minded rather than going up the flank. But no, Klopp is stuck with Alexander-Arnold, and he's paying dividends.
Definitely, mate. And I mean, he got just as many assists, if not more than Robertson last year. I think he actually just tipped him. We've touched on Vestergaard. I mean, difference for me here is Alexander-Arnold he's a stalwart. He should be in your team week in, week out if you go with him. You keep him there for the season unless he gets injured. Vestergaard, I mean, I know you said 5 million. I think that's quite expensive for a defender. He's not going to do what he did
There's other choices
against
out
United.
there, right?
You know, he's going to come up against stronger defences.
Yep.
And then Masuaki as well.
Look, he's a left back. Does get an odd assist every now and then. He's got a great left foot. Right, he gets up the pitch very well. He takes on players.